Hope everyone is doing well. I hope everyone is having a great start to the new year in trading, outside of trading. Life is good. Um, this is something that I really wanted to break down, which is why I only take one trade a day. And taking one trade a day, this is a part of my edge in the market. This is one of the main reasons why I am profitable. I am consistently profitable. This is one of the main reasons why you always hear me say, 8 times out of 10, I'm going to win my trade. And this is because I only focus on one trade a day. So I really want to break this down. Hopefully, right, you can learn from this and then you can imply this within your own trading. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get into it. So, why I only take one trade a day? Now, trading less has led me to being more consistent. One trade a day keeps the drawdown away. I'm going to break this down. If you take good losses, you won't dig a hole unless you go on tilt and you have a short term mindset. Always, always, always discipline over dopamine. Now, this is something that I've come up with and I do believe in, that one trade a day keeps the drawdown away. I have plenty of videos on, my YouTube on me being on a 3 day losing streak, and my one win wipes out those three losses. But how am I able to do that? By making sure I'm keeping my position size in the same and I'm only focusing on one trade. Something that I showed you in the last educational video that Mark Douglas said is 3 losses in a row is common in most trading systems. And as long as you are taking good losses, that's all that matters. As I always say, something I believe that makes me a great trader is I'm a great loser. I'm a great loser. So remember that. So what do I mean by one trade a day keeps the drawdown away? Stick with me. Let's say I take a trade and it's a good loss. I close my laptop, I go away. But I take that one trade and I tell myself, man, I put so much time and analysis into into this trade. I should have won that trade. You're a sore loser. So what do? You take a setup again on, maybe the 84% rule or however. You take another setup after you lost the second time. Now you're in drawdown. Now you went on tilt and you're in drawdown. The following day you come in and you have a clear mindset, right? You're already looking at the previous day like, man, I wish I didn't take that many trades. When it's all said and done, you take a good trade, and that trade was a decent win. But guess what? Now you're still in the hole. You're still red. But if you would have taken that one good loss, walked away, and the following day you take a good trade and it was a winning trade, now you're green on the day and you made your money back from yesterday and you're green on the week, right? But you can only do that, right? Focusing on one high probability shot a day. Remember, if it's a good loss, there's nothing you can do about that, right? Thinking probabilities, not certainties. So understanding what an A plus setup is and learning, there is not an A plus setup every day. There's not. I only focus on A plus setups. That's it. Every single shot that I take for me is an A plus shot. I'm only trading with the higher time frame. I'm only trading with the trend, right? I'm only trading off the higher time frame key levels. Some people, like I said, there's no right or wrong way to trade. Some people come into the market and they're open to go short and go long. If a name's trending to the upside, as you always hear me say, the trend is your friend and the dip is your best friend. If a name's trending to the upside and on the intraday, we're just pulling back all day, I'm not looking to go short. I'm just waiting to see, okay, can we find a support level, buy or step up and push this thing higher so I can catch the trend. Some people are open into saying, hey, today's the bears are in control. I'm looking to go short. That's not me, right? Focus on A plus setups. And that's all I focus on. This has led me, right, to a higher win percentage, bigger RR trades, more consistent gains, and trading honestly became easy and fun. When you have a repeatable system and you go into the market every single day, it does become boring for sure. But humbly I say, trading does become easy. As you always hear me say, life is what you make it, trading is what you make it. So one trade a day forces you to only focus on high probability setups. This is what trading is. The only two things we can control in our trading, right, is risk management and our emotions. That's the only thing we can't control. That's it. Everything else is out of our control. But as I said before, you'll be surprised that 90% of a lot of these things fall under risk management. 90%. So have the mindset of you can only have one shot. You got to make it count. You got to make it count. So our job as traders is to take the highest probability setup. As I said, the definition of an edge in the market is having an edge that puts the probabilities in your favor over a long period of time. How do you do that? Making sure you know your system inside and out and you only focus on high probability setups, right? The chances of you becoming consistently profitable increases by doing this compared to taking 5 to 10 trades in a day. That's very common. If your wins are bigger, your size is consistent, and you respect your stop losses, you will always come out green down the road. Always, always, always. So here you hear me say, right, doing this compared to 5 to 10 trades, you have to ask yourself, what type of trader are you? Are you a scalper? Right? If that's what you do, Your trading's going to be a little bit different, right? If you're averaging, 4 to 5 trades in a day, it's going to be a little bit different. So only you know that. I'm very big on 1 trade a day. I average 1 trade a day. Really focus on that. So I want to speak to you on the problem of over trading, and this is what most beginner traders think. Something that I've said, I think in my last video, is ask yourself, if you're taking trades every single day, there's 5 trading days in a week, and you're taking trades Monday through Friday, why are you not profitable? You're taking more trades, right? So why are you not profitable? And that all goes back to understanding that not every day is an A plus shot. Something that I believe in, and this is just my opinion, if it's not an A plus trade, why are you taking the trade? Preserve your capital, right? Protect your capital. So most beginner traders think more trades equals more money. If so, why aren't you profitable? If I take more trades with bigger size, I'll make more money even on small moves. I'm sure we've all thought this. I'm sure we've all thought this. You know what that leads to? Blowing up accounts. You're being outcome focused, not process focused. You're always thinking about, right, okay, I can make this much. I never think about that. I don't know how much money I'm going to make in a trade. It's not my job to know. My job is just to take my setups, control my risk and my emotions. That's it. There's 4 outcomes to a trade. Remember that. It's going to be a big win. It's going to be a small win. It's going to be break even, or it's going to be a loss. Those are the only 4 outcomes of a trade. You notice how I didn't say a big loss or small loss? There's 7 principles to trading according to Mark Douglas. And one of those, right, one of those is every trade you take, you need to have predefined risk before you enter that trade. So there is no shortcuts, right? Take a good loss, right? Take a good loss. You're being a sore loser. You took it personal, and then you try and make it back. We've all been there. I've been there. So what do? Right now you're in drawdown. You got to climb out of. This is a short-term mindset problem. This is a very short-term mindset problem. As I always say, I don't care about my P&L at the end of the day, at the end of the week, most times really at the end of the month. It's been a couple of years now since I've had a red month, but still, I care about where I'm at the end of the quarter and at the end of the year. You got to have a long-term mindset. Why? Because at the end of the quarter, that's 3 months, right? At the end of the year, that's 12 months. So always have a long-term mindset. Some traders pay themselves weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. I pay myself once a quarter. So I'm only paying myself, right, 4 times a year. That's just how I am as a trader. So always have a long-term mindset. So the reality, sorry about that, the reality of over trading is the reality. More trades equals more mistakes. If you're taking 5 trades, and keep in mind, even if you are profitable doing this, or even if you are making a little bit of money doing this, there's no way you can tell me that you've taken 6 trades in a day and all 6 are A plus shots. There's no way. So more trades equals more mistakes, emotional fatigue. Something that I believe in is preserve capital and mental capital. My cash days are green days. My cash days are great days. Why? Because I followed my rules. That's why I have a cash day. There was no setup in my system. That's why I had a cash day. So when you have a cash day, you preserve your capital, you protected that, and you preserve your mental capital. Those are both very important, right? Forcing setups. Not every day is an A plus day. You got to understand that. Something that I've said before, and I'll continue to say it, get out a piece of paper, whatever your system is, write down the definition of an A plus setup, and then go look at all the trades you've taken, winning trades and losing trades, and make the correlation. Was that an A plus shot? If not, those are losses that could have been avoided. Not every day is an A plus setup. Is the market or stock you're trading in a range? Know these things. Know the pros and cons to your system. I know if Nvidia or Tesla is stuck in a channel, all right, I'm on the brakes a little bit here because I know these are cons to my system. I'm not going to have that follow through. I'm not going to have that continuation, right? The whole point of the break and retest is looking for continuation and follow through on our plays. So there's pros and cons to every system. You have to know that. And then greed, turning green days to red. This is one of my personal problems early in my career. It's funny. So my members who join the Discord, I send them a PDF, and that PDF is a reflection, and I make them a set of rules in their own system to follow to see improvement in their trading. And this is right now, this is like 100% rate, which is greed. Everyone comments on greed and says how greed hurts them. And I say this to say, you have to take what the market gives you. You have to remind yourself that there's going to be 4 outcomes to a trade. It's going to be a big win, it's going to be a small win, it's going to be break even, or it's going to be a loss. I don't know when my home run trade is going to come. It's not my job to know. I don't know when my big winning day is going to come. But I promise you, if you force those days, if you force that home run, you're always going to lose. You're always going to lose 9 times out of 10 if you force the big days. Be content. Take what the market gives you. If the market gave you a 10% day and you let market structure take you out, so be it. That's what the market gave you that day. If the market gave you a 20% trade, that's what the market gave you that day. So I don't ever go into the market looking for 40%, 50% home runs. No, those fall in my lap. We don't know. So greed is probably one of the biggest things that most traders deal with. And that was my biggest thing. I believe, very early in my journey, I could have been consistently profitable if it wasn't for greed. Winning for me was really never the problem. I was always able to win my trades. It was trying to make more. I'm just being honest. That was like very early in my career. Keep in mind, I'm in college, right? I'm on a scholarship. Everything's paid for, so I just want some money in my pocket for the weekend. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, if I could make $200, if I could take another trade, that's $400, right? After this game on Saturday, we're gonna have ourselves a good time. And then what happens? I end up giving my money back. I end up being red on the day, and then I say, okay, maybe I can try and get back to break even. And now I'm in a hole. So greed is a big thing. So win or lose, close the laptop and walk away. Less is more. Close the laptop, walk away. As long as you took a good loss, a high probability shot, that's all that matters. So one trade forces you to be selective, 100%. When you allow one trade, you wait and you sit on your hands for A plus setups. You respect your edge and your system. Something that I always say is I trust my edge, I trust my system, and I trust myself. You stop chasing moves. You follow your plan. As I always say, plan your trade and trade your plan. That's your job. When I try and teach you these things, I'm doing my best to like keep it very simple for you to understand. It's not your job to be right or wrong. That's not our job. We don't control that. Our job is to take the highest probability setups. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. The only two things that we control as traders is our emotions and our risk. That's it. That's the only two things we control, our emotions and our risk. Win or lose, if you planned your trade and you traded your plan, you won the day. You respected your stop loss. It just means the probabilities weren't in your favor. That's all that means. So you have to remember that. You have to think like that. You have to think in probabilities, not certainties. So a couple of personal tips that I apply to myself that I believe will really help you. And you always hear me say, right? Less is more. This is our edge. Learn the personality of the stock you are trading. Less is more. You only need a handful of stocks to trade. I only trade really the major tech names. But the thing about those tech names is I know the average IV. I know the average dollar amount, right? That helps me because let's say we approach a key level and I feel that price is a little bit extended. It already moved the average dollar amount on the day. That's going to help me determine, okay, should I take this trade? Should I skip this trade? Right? There's a difference between missing a trade and skipping a trade. Should I skip this trade or should I take it? Okay, if I'm taking it and I feel that we're a little extended, which strike price should I pick? Those things matter. You're going to pick your strike price based off of those things. So you have to know the personality of your stock. That's a part of your edge. That's what's going to help you in the long run. Be a great loser. Learn how to lose. In my opinion, right, you'll never hear me say like, oh, I'm the best trader or I'm a great trader. I think all of you are probably 10 times better traders to me. You just got to tap into that potential. But I believe, as I've always said, I'm a great loser. I can go on a 3 day, on a 4 day, on a 5 day losing streak and not go on tilt. I can hold my water. I can understand, hey, probabilities. I can keep my losses consistent. And as soon as I win, I know, right, my one win is going to wipe out three of these losses. I understand that. Why? Because I have a long term mindset. As soon as you become a sore loser, you're not focused on your next 100 trades. You're not thinking about, okay, how can my actions today affect me 2 weeks from now? If I take my one trade a day and next month the price action is cleaner and I'm getting follow through, I'm back green. I've made a lot of money. But if I'm having a short term mindset, I'm on a losing streak, I'm being a sore loser, I'm trying to make my money back. Now I go into the next month, the price action's great, but I'm not even making money. I'm just trying to make back the money I lost last month from blowing up. So be a great loser. I really hope that makes sense. I know a lot of people don't understand that, but you have to. It goes hand in hand. You you're gonna lose in the market. It's inevitable. You're going to lose. And guess what? You're gonna go on a losing streak. It's normal. Don't let social media fool you guys. Please don't. It's 100% normal. So you gotta learn how to just lose. You have to learn. That's very hard for most people to do. That was hard for me to do. So learn your system like the back of your hand. Once you do this, once you do this, you come into the day doing the same thing every single day. This is why I say trading is easy. I don't say it because I have a magic ball. I don't say it because, right, I win 8 out of 10 trades. I say it because the same thing that I did last week, I'm going to do next week. And the same thing that I did yesterday, I did today. Right? Today for me was a cash day. Right? I'm doing the same thing every single day. Now, this one is very important and I've been trying to, teach this to people. Learn the difference between missing a trade and skipping a trade. You don't have to take every single trade that occurs. As I said, in the last educational video about, how to trade the break and retest, there are the micro things that go into that system that no one teaches. So For an example, if I get a break and retest on NVIDIA over a key level, but I see, okay, NVIDIA is in sync right now with QQQ, and QQQ is pushing into a key resistance weekly level. I'm not going to take this trade, even though we got the break and retest, because Q's is pushing into a resistance level. And if these two names are in sync and I'm not spotting divergence or relative strength on NVIDIA, I'm not going to take that. And lo and behold, guess what? QQQ rejects its key level, comes down. Guess what came down with it? NVIDIA. So you got to know the difference between missing a trade and skipping a trade. Those micro things that go into it really helps. And most importantly, this is very, very important. Learn how to read price action. I have an educational video on that. Understand liquidity. You got to know these things. Learn liquidity. What is that? I've seen, this is very common, actually, very, very common. I'll review some trades and they took a loss on a winning trade. Why? Because of poor stop loss placement. Once you understand liquidity, you understand that. Like, oh, okay, this is where my stop loss should be. Your thesis was correct. Your analysis was correct, but you have poor stop loss placement. So most times, traders look at this and say, man, this system doesn't work. I keep getting stopped out. Oh, man, the market took out my order, whatever, and then it moved in my favor. No, that's not the case. You just had poor stop loss placement. Learn the overall market. Learn what divergence is, how to utilize that. And this will help you determine which ticker to focus on when the bell rings. Simplicity is key for me. Occasionally, if a name is hot, I'll look at something like lately MU has been a very hot name, but I focus on my main tickers: AMD, NVIDIA, Tesla, Apple, SPY, QQQ. Less is more. So risk and emotions, right? Stay control. It's very important. So one trade per day means fixed risk. Like I said, there's 7 principles, right? According to Mark Douglas, there's 7 principles. One of those things is every trade you enter, you should already have predefined risk. Every single trade you enter, you should know how much you're willing to risk on that trade. If it's a ballpark, okay, then you know to scale down accordingly. If you're with a small account and you have a hard stop loss, if it's 10%, as soon as you see negative 10%, you don't second guess. You hit sell market or whatever you're in and get out of the trade. So you always have to have fixed risk. If you don't, you're gambling. It's going to be very hard to be profitable if you just go into a trade, your position sizing is all over the place, you're not respecting your stop loss, you don't know what your stop loss is going to be. Like, now you are gambling. So there's no such thing as revenge trading. You can't do it if you only took one trade. If I took one trade, I can't revenge trade. If I took my loss and it was a good loss and I closed my laptop, I can't take another trade. If I took a good trade and it was a winning trade, I can't get greedy if I close the laptop. So focus on one trade. It's very important. No make it back mindset. If you focus on that one trade, you won't have a make it back mindset. Keep in mind, right? These are short-term mindset mistakes. If you're trying to revenge trade, you have a short-term mindset. If you're trying to make your money back, you're not thinking about your actions, how it's going to affect you 2 weeks from now, a month from now. You're having a short-term mindset. Clear mental reset after execution. The goal is to protect your mindset, not just your money. That's the goal. Preserve mental capital and your actual capital, right? Those things go hand in hand. Now, how do I choose my one trade? This is very important. Simplicity is key. I'm focusing on my key levels. Now, this is very important. It is your job to make sure that you have the right key levels and trust them. Garbage in, garbage out. Not too long ago, I took a trade on Tesla. I went long on Tesla. I always review my trades. I lost my trade. I said, okay, was it me or was it a good loss? When in doubt, zoom out. I zoomed out. It was a terrible key level. It was not a good key level, right? I ended up going long into a weekly resistance level that I did not have on my chart. I deserved that loss. I did not deserve to win that trade. Garbage in, garbage out. And I say that because that's my mindset. But a lot of people make the mistake of thinking these key levels are magic levels. They're not. You have to make sure you have the right key levels. And then once you get that down and you build that habit and you build that skill, it's the micro things. Okay, can you read the price action at these key levels? Can you make a correlation between the overall market and the stock? Can you spot divergence? Those are the things as well. So the RR is worth the risk. This is very important for me. You guys seen this in my live trading sessions. This is how I trade. I do not scout. I am not a scalper. You have to, you got to know what you are as a trader. Are you a scalper? If so, that's fine. If you're looking to be in a trade and as soon as you see green, you're out of the trade. As soon as you see 5%, 6%, you're out of the trade. Okay, cool. That's okay. But you have to know that. If you're a scalper, you're a scalper. That is not how I trade. There's been plenty of trades where I was up 10%, 11%, but I sit in the trade because I don't care to sell for that quick base hit. That defeats the purpose of my system. Guys, if I'm trading on the higher time frame, on the weekly level, on the daily, and on the 4 hour with the overall time frame, looking for the trend. And every trade that I take, I'm looking for a big RR. It defeats the purpose of that if I enter a trade and I get out for 4%, 5%. That makes no sense to me. Keep in mind, this is just my opinion. That makes zero sense to me. Yesterday, great example. I went long on AMD. I was up 11% on that trade. I was up a little bit over 3,000 on that trade, but I didn't sell. Why? Why would I do that? You guys always hear me say in my live trading session, yeah, I'm up right now at the high day, but I'd rather just take my loss. I don't really care to get out here. It just doesn't make sense. So that defeats the purpose of the system. So you have to ask yourself, are you a day trader? Right? Do you have fixed RR before you go into that trade? Or are you just looking for a quick move? That's really important to know that. There's no right or wrong answer, but that's going to determine how you trade, how you manage your positions, and how you utilize your system. Patience is confirmation. Most traders lack patience. Most traders lack patience, but a lot of them have impulsiveness. That is so important. I can't tell you how many times that I hear, yeah, FOMO kicked in, right? I didn't want to miss out. We've all been there, right? I'm not perfect. I've been there. How many of us have seen, market opens, our key level breaks, and the momentum is just so strong. And then you look at SPY and you look at QQQ, and the momentum is just so strong. And you don't want to miss out on that. We know how options are. Options pay us more on momentum plays, right? Those contracts, the premiums spike, those contracts start to get in the money. FOMO kicks in, and then you lose the trade. You didn't trade the break and retest. You traded a breakout. You made an emotional decision. So patience is confirmation. Let the breakout happen. Wait for the retest. See if we see a spike in volume, right? Buyer stepping in aggressively. We're looking to go long, and then you take your shot. So patience is confirmation. If a trade does not set up in my system, I don't take a trade. I can show up every day and do nothing. That is a part of my skill set. I can show up every single day and do absolutely nothing. Most beginner traders can't do that. How do I know that? Because I was that beginner trader. It was very hard for me to show up and do nothing. I felt like I had to take a trade. I felt like I had to be in the market. And as soon as I stopped doing that, I started winning more. So, some great example I want to give you, someone gave me, is think of it this way, right? Like I said, don't let social media fool you guys. Don't let it fool you. All you need, it's all perspective. You only need a handful of trades to have a great month. So let's say out of 20 trading days, you take 4 trades and your average position size is 20,000. Each trade, we'll keep it simple here, it's 10%. 2, 4, 6, 8. You made 8 grand in 1 month, only taking 4 trades. That's a great month. It's all perspective, right? Of course, right? We all want to get there and start averaging 100K, 200K a month, but be realistic. I don't know about you, but when I was working full time and I was trading in the stock market, I was very happy consistently making an extra 5,000 a month, 6,000 a month, 8,000 a month consistently. I'll take that. So be realistic, right? If it's not a trade in your system, cash days are good. You only need a handful of trades to really make your entire month. It's all perspective. So remember that. You only need a handful of trades. So lastly, right? This approach, by doing all these things, leads to higher execution, right? More consistent wins, higher quality wins. As always, this is always the goal: quality over quantity, smaller losses and less losses. I win 8 times out of 10. Why? Because I only take high probability setups. Guys, I promise you, this 8 out of 10 would be very different if I was averaging 5 trades in a day, 6 trades in a day. For sure, it would definitely be different. But I'm only focusing on high probability setups. I average roughly 3 trades a week. I know these things. Our job is not to be correct. It's to take our setups every time they show up. Every time they show their hand, you take your shot. What happens next is out of our control. Remember, the ultimate goal as a trader is to trade without fear, and the ultimate goal as a trader is to trade without reservation and hesitation. You don't want to get the breakout and then the retest and you're thinking, oh man, I already lost 2 days in a row. Should I take the trade? Should I not? No, that's not your job. Take your setup every single time it occurs. Consistency over time. Always think about your next 100 trades. Have a long-term mindset. Why does this work? It's simple. Simplicity is key. The way I trade, my approach to trading, and my style of trading is all simple. You guys see that with my educational videos. You see that with my trade recaps. You see that with my live trading sessions. You don't see anything on my charts except for key levels. No indicators, no level 2, no times and sales, none of that. Just clean levels, and I'm reading raw price action. Less is more. It's easy to fix mistakes when you are trading less. This is so important. It's very easy to fix mistakes when you are trading less. It's easy to track data when you're trading less. The list goes on. If I'm going through every single trade, it's going to be very easy to do so when out of 20 trading days, I've only averaged 1 trade a day. I can spot my mistake. But if I took 5 trades in a day and I'm thoroughly breaking down each trade, it's going to be a little hard, right? It's not impossible, but it's very tedious. It's for sure going to be time consuming, but it's going to be easier. Why? Because I have less trades. Less is more. You don't need more trades. You need better ones. I'll say that one more time. You don't need more trades. You need better ones. Perfect your system and you will know what better trades look like. I know what an A plus shot looks like. I know what a great trade looks like. And I know what a low probability trade looks like. And that's why you got to know the difference between missing a trade and skipping a trade. So really hope this helps. Guys, apply this to you, right? Give it a shot. Just try it. Go 1 month. Go 1 month of just, okay, this month, I don't care if I win a trade. I don't care if I lose a trade. I'm only going to take one trade and I'm going to walk away. And you will be surprised. You will be surprised. When you do that, make sure you keep your position size the same and you respect your stop loss. And I promise you, you will see a big difference in your trading compared to focusing on that one trade a day. It makes it easier to go on losing streaks because you're like, man, I just lost 2 days, 3 days in a row, but this one trade just wiped out. When it did go my way, it did wipe out these 2 losses. Man, okay, cool. I like this. So give it a shot, right? You won't know until you know. That's what makes trading, right? Don't put a time frame on when you should be profitable. Take this time to learn from your mistakes. This journey, when you learn from these mistakes, that's helping you become a better a trader, right? If you lose a trade, if you fell along the way, that doesn't make you a loser. The only thing that makes you a loser in anything in life is quitting. As long as you fail, but you gave it everything you got, that's all that matters. So I hope this helps. I hope you guys are able to learn from this. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one.